Hey, good evening, guys. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy. Let me get kind of situated here a minute. Guys, thanks. After my last video, I can't thank y'all enough for the emails and comments and prayers and support after telling y'all about Dad passing. So I really, it really made me feel good, and I appreciate all of it. I really, really do. Buried Dad Thursday, and things getting kind of, well, I don't feel there be what you call normal, but we're all doing all right. Now we started going through a house that's been lived in for about 54 years. A pre-internet days house that's got a ton of books and checkbooks and papers and all of that. One of my younger grandsons out there helping me today. He said, "Why do they have so many books?" I said, "Well, that's pre-internet days, dude." So we're working on it, and I appreciate it, guys. Also, the reason I'm clean shaven, I wore my uniform because my dad was Navy in the Korean War, and I'm retired Air Force, so I wore my uniform and did the flag presentation. So, but give me a couple weeks, I'll have the redneck Santa Claus look back. All right, guys, thanks again. Can't thank y'all enough, especially the Hammerheads crew, all of them for turning out and helping me and supporting me there, and I appreciate it. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about my favorite subject, QSL cards again. I was looking online trying to find a topic for tonight's video, and a guy asked some questions about if he's sending his cards outright to other countries when he's paying ham radio cat, having to maybe send a few dollars with it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I got a card today, KD5 KWT. One of the guys in the group got some cards. He's getting into this real big. Hadn't been a ham probably less than a year. He's already done his upgrade. I think he's extra now. He is extra because he's doing VE stuff now. POTA stuff. He's really getting into the hobby, and Carl got some cards out. Thank you, Carl. And thank you for helping keeping QSL cards alive. As I think that's a major part of this hobby. The guy asked a question about proper ways of sending cards, and he wasn't getting many back, and that's an issue. I've sent a bunch out. I hadn't got all of mine back yet. One thing I'm going to show y'all on my QRZ page. QRZ makes it so much easier now if the ham has taken the time to fill out his biography, and most have, on helping you get to know how to do a QSL. So let's flip around here, then I'm going to show you how I mail them. Okay, I'm look right here. You look right there, you'll see my name. I've already got that QSL direct and my email address. But a lot of guys won't fill that out, but if you look at the detail and scroll down where it says QSL by mail, yes, use Logbook of the World. That's the quickest way to find out about sending a QSL to somebody. Makes it super easy. And if you got any questions, email them. I've done that a bunch, and I find that if I email, especially a DX station, before I send the card, I will find I've got a lot better chance of getting the card back. And in the email subject matter, so they don't think it's spam or whatever, I always put QSO with KB5MIQ and maybe the date. And then in the email, hi, this is KB5MIQ. We did a QSO on whatever band, what frequency, what UTC time and date, and I would like to exchange QSL cards with you. If you didn't have, do you need money for postage? Whatever. Ask them that. Most of them will respond, and it it greatly increases your chances of getting the card back. And a lot of these foreign countries will have a QSL manager. And I've had guys email me, answer my email, said, don't send the card to my country because I won't get it. The mail system's corrupt or whatever. Send it to my QSL manager and we'll get the card like that. And they'll tell you if they need any money for postage. The only contact I ever did not try to send a card to, it was a DX station, wanted you to Venmo or PayPal for the deal, and I don't do that. So that's the easiest way with QRZ, makes it super easy, way easier than we had in the past on doing QSL cards. Like I've said in the past, I've literally had to read my address to people over the air, and the old call book was the gold standard back in the pre-internet days, and WD5HKV and myself, we never could afford a subscription to it, but we would go to Hamfest and buy old copies, a couple 3-year-old copy for a couple of bucks. I've had several copies like that. Actually, I went to Dallas, to Cowtown Hamfest, and found somebody trying to sell some from '96, and I was going to buy it, but I wasn't going to give $20 for it. I just going to use it for a prop for a video because I don't need it now. He's asking $20, $25 for an old copy, and I wasn't going to pay that, you know, cheap ham here. But I wanted that for some of you new guys that's never seen that can see it. And I'll find one cheap enough to buy one day, but I ain't giving $20 or $25 for one. But let's talk about how I send cards to a DX station that I may go send a couple of bucks to. And I highly recommend, and I don't know where mine's at, get you a rubber stamp for your address. And I take a long legal envelope and what I call a small check size envelope. And I'll have my address stamped on this. And when you address, especially to a DX station, don't put ham radio call sign on his name. Don't put QSL enclosed on anywhere on the envelope. Make it look like just personal correspondence. Because if these people that may rip off the mail know American may be sending a couple $3, and that $3 in a foreign country is probably worth some money. So you got your return envelope with a stamp with your address on it or address stamped on it, but do not put postage on it. Then I'll take my card and I'll take a piece of copier paper, fold it up like this, slip the envelope in there, and then fold $2 or $3 what that's for and put it in the middle right here. Fold it over again, and then put it in an envelope, just like this. Seal it up, just my name, return address, his name, address, nothing on it to make anybody think it's a QSL card that could possibly have money in it. And between QRZ and doing stuff like that for trying to get an overseas card, that's the way to do it. In my opinion, I'm not telling you to do it that way. That's just my opinion. Now, when I send cards out now, the only cards I really chase are DX contacts I don't have a card for. I really want to get a Peru card. That'll have me complete from Mexico to Argentina. That's the only one I have like a card for. And I've actually worked all the countries. I just haven't got a Peru card. Stateside cards, if I send you a card, if you're a new ham, I'm going to send you a card. If I send you a card just in that small envelope, I'm not expecting one back. So I'm doing that to welcome you to the hobby, give you a taste of QSL cards, and just trying to promote the hobby any way I can. If somebody asks me for a card, I will definitely send them one. If a subscriber, I've talked to several subscribers on the air, and if you ever hear me, please tell me you're a subscriber, and I will send you a card, probably a couple of stickers in there with it also. Overseas cards, still after COVID, the mail system's still kind of screwed up, even several years after COVID. I don't ever remember having this much trouble in the 90s getting overseas cards back. But now you send some out, this takes forever. I've got 2 cards sent to Russia. When the Russian guy emailed me when he got my card, and I think it took almost 3 months from the time I mailed it for him to get it. But he got it safely, and he has returned mine, but hadn't got it yet. And that's been a month and a half ago at least when I emailed him. So hopefully I'll get it. And I did send another Russian contact. I sent a card via the bureau. Now, that's a good way to send cards, and it's a little cheaper way to send cards. And a lot of guys will still accept bureau cards. You have to send them through the ARRL outgoing QSL bureau, and there's a small fee for it. It's not as bad as you'd think it would be for sending cards out. So that's another option to have. I highly recommend you look for the QSL card bureau in your call district. Like mine's W5 QSL, I believe, for 5 land. And it's up here in Oklahoma, and I check mine probably every other day. And every once in a while, I'll have a card in it, and I've got enough envelopes. If I see if I've got a card, I just email my sorter and say, hey, if I got postage, send it. And they'll usually tell you when you're running low of postage. So keep QSLing alive, please. I think that is one of the biggest proponents of this hobby is QSL cards. I've said this before. I've got an I Love Me corner in there, the walls, got my military shadow box. Now it's got my dad's shadow box above mine. A couple of flags there, some retirement plaques. Nobody pays attention to it. But if anybody comes in my shack, they all ask me about my cards, especially a non-ham. That's the first thing they latch on to, is seeing those cards, and it kind of impresses them. So, something to think about. It really is. And it's a good icebreaker for a new guy coming in, because if you've ever worked, especially in tech stuff, with people that may not be familiar with tech, radios, especially in today's environment, they don't like to ask questions because they may think it makes them look dumb. And it's a good way to break the ice and get somebody to ask you questions about ham radio, where you can help them out and maybe help them get them into this hobby and keep this hobby going. But again, I think QSL cards are the way to do it. And Carl's card is fixing to be on the wall here real quick. In fact, when I get through this video, I got a spot picked out for it. Guys, that's about all I can think about tonight. Again, thanks for all your prayers and concerns. Remember, Main Trading Company in Paris, he's got tons of used gear coming up all the time. I think he's been getting some ICOM repacks in. I highly recommend you go to the MTC website, and I'll put it in the link in the description. I'll put a link or the website info in the description of this video. Go to the website, sign up for his email list. And that's the best way to keep track of coupon codes and sales and stuff Richard's got going on up there. We got several Hamfests coming up. I've got several Hamfest infos and slides. It's going to be at the end of this. And guys, if you got a Hamfest coming up and you want me to put it in here, I'll be glad to do it. All you got to do is send me a picture of it with the info, and I'll sure get it in here. Guys, appreciate everybody likes listening to me and old Ham Radio Cap. This is KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73.